son, and Navajo doesn't know if he's coming or going most of the time.
And then Phil. Philip.
Philip. They adopted a daughter,
Denise.
Denise, and
Where did they adopt her from? Domestically?
yeah, I think something Native American. I don't know. Did I meet Denise? I don't remember. I met Philip in Arizona when I went to see Robert, and Ruth went to see her father. Now Phil and what's his wife's name were wintering in Faye were wintering in Arizona, so I met him once or twice in our last, in our grown-up stage of life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then know about you, and then Malushki is still in
Brooklyn, yeah.
Brooklyn.
Losing
And
Alzheimer's. I call her periodically.
just
Who are you? I'm your brother. Oh, I have a brother, yeah. How old am I? 92. How old am I? And then how old is she? 90. And that goes on 4 or 5 times during the conversation.
Wow.
Yeah. But Debbie looks after her, finances and sees her as frequently as she can.
Because last time I saw her was when my grandmother was alive, so quite a few years ago.
Yeah. But as far as I can tell, physically she's in good shape. Mentally, well, can't have everything.
Wow. But yeah, so last time I saw her was when Shalom was alive.
Oh, wow. He's been dead, 10, 15 years maybe.
Nah, not that long.
Really?
2004, I think. Yeah, 2004.
7 years? No.
Yeah.
Seems to me he died long. I don't know, what do I know? Huh.
And then your parents, what did they do for a living?
My father was in the was a sewing machine operator on women's clothes, and my mother, because he wouldn't work if it was not a union shop, he ain't working. So you go on welfare, you go on welfare. He ain't how many union shops were there during the Depression? He ain't working. So we had a neighbor on the first floor who had I forget what the kind is, I forget the name of the machine. It's sewed, it's called applique. You take a black fabric and you put a pink piece of cloth on it with a pattern in it. And our neighbor, Mr. Pike, would sew the outline of the rose, and then my mother and her crew would come in and cut all the excess fabric from around that pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what kept us in food during the Depression.
Wow.
I was the best left-handed male applique cutter in the country. There was no other ones.
Yep.
I was good at it. I swear.
Wow. Now, did you know your grandparents?
I remember I vaguely remember my maternal grandparents were in Europe, but my father's parents, Zayda was a tall man with a kind of beard that long.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember he had some kind of hat with fur on it, and Baba Esther was a short thing, miserable person. She'd lock up, have cookies, she'd lock them up in the trunk so none of the grandkids could get, I don't know, nobody liked her. They lived downtown Manhattan I can remember the hallway had these stamped metal panels that lined the walls and the ceiling. And up there was looked like like you see outside of a house, a gas thing. And put a quarter in there, you got gas in the house.
Wow.
The bathroom was out in the hall. But that's all I remember about them. Somewheres I have pictures of their grave markers, gravestones, but I don't know where that stuff is. Living here, I've moved 4 times within this complex. I was living in building 4. Would you move to building 1? Yeah. So that they can tear down building 4 and build a new building. I've moved 4 times. And photo albums, pictures on the wall. I don't know where they are. They're in Alan's garage, but you have to see Alan's garage. Can't get to them.
Wow. Now, did you know Paulie Thau?
Yeah, I remember her.
Did you know her kids,
There's
Min and Mary?
know them too, not as well as Paulie. All I remember about Paulie, she'd come to visit my mother, and she was smoking. Oh, that was wow. She was a cigarette smoker in those years. Nobody else did, and that's because she had bad teeth. I guess back in the old country, maybe here, and that kind of helped relieve the pain. Minnie, I think I saw Minnie once or twice. She was married to Sid. He was some kind of magazine distributor or something. I don't know. Their kids I know nothing of.
Yeah, so and Mary? Do you remember Mary?
No.
No. And so is your sister named after Mollusky Thau?
I guess that's the only two people I've ever known with that name.
And then,
I don't know who Mollusky Tau was, though.
well, she died obviously before your sister was born, so she died before 1912.
Ah,
And then Max Koffler?
remember him well, yeah. He was the aristocrat of the family because he worked for Southern California, Edison, not Southern California, back there, whatever the name of the utility was. And, I mean, somebody that didn't work in the clothing industry was an electrician. Yeah. And none of our, well, my mother didn't like her, none of us liked her. Max's wife, Clara.
Yeah.
She wouldn't say Clara. Clara! Clara! I tell you, talking to you, I can hear their voices.
And then Lenore. Did you know Lenore?
Vaguely. Can't remember much about her. Clara was a big woman, tall.
Yep.
Lenore, I don't know. I think Lenore married a dentist.
Yeah, Arthur Kensier.
Yeah.
And they have kids, and their kids have kids. So now, was everybody religious? Like your parents and
rephrase that with nobody. Nobody was religious.
Really?
No. My mother had 3 boys. We each had turns. Alex was the older one. You're going to be a rabbi? No rabbi. Nothing. Phil, forget about Phil. He was a bum. It was poor me. I went to religious high schools and grammar schools till I was 15. I said, this is for the birds. You know, what kind of bullshit is that? So I finished my last year of high school in a public high school. Bye-bye, no more yeshiva. But, you know, now that I'm old and broken down, my not religion, not religiosity, because it's not religion, it's a cultural thing. I've got Jewish related newspapers, magazines, quarterlies, weeklies, monthlies, some of which I don't have time to read, but they're piling up. I'll get to them someday. Last night, the latest edition of the English edition of the Forbes comes out of New York. Some of it is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have the Jerusalem Report, a bi-weekly, good magazine, mix of the ultra-Orthodox, the whole spectrum of Israeli politics. I don't know, got tons of stuff here. But in the last, it's going to be exactly a year that they screwed my eyes up, but maybe I'll get back to reading one day, I don't know. 2 cataracts, one of them didn't work, I'm in the process of healing with a corneal transplant. At 92, well, they're wasting their money on me, but hey, the HMO is doing it, fine with me, I'll take it. Now, the only thing between me and death is a flapping left atrial heart valve. And the idiot doctor says, well, if you get through your day and you feel wiped out, come back, we'll talk about a valve repair. I said, no, you're not opening me up for heart repair. He said, no, we do it through the artery. Through the artery, I'll consider it. Well, I don't know. Meanwhile, I walk as much as I can, smoke as much as I can, screw the heart. I tell you, it's tough getting old. I mean, nothing works. The plumbing don't work, the video don't work, the garbage disposal don't work. I got this, I got nothing works. Ache all over. This is as far as this arm goes. I'm left-handed. That's all. As opposed to that. So I pick something up. If it has, now it goes up. So I'm getting to where it's automatic, but I used to have to stop and think, what am I going to do with it? I can't go any higher than this.
Yep.
But even eating, when I'm here by myself, I can't, it's just too cumbersome. I just get down here and shoveling it. But hell, I get along fine so far.
Did you remember anybody talking about Rajnov or Poland or anything like that when you were younger?
No. I mean, since my mother died, now I feel sorry I didn't press her more, but people, I don't know of any even of my generation that has any inkling of the ones I know. Mm-hmm. I can remember one time, who might? Rose's grandson, not Amanda's brother, whatever his name is. Brian. He used to spend a lot of time with my mother, and he was, I think he was or is an attorney. He's always questioning how this and that. He would know more about my mother's European life than anybody I know.
Okay, I'll ask him.
Try to find him.
Yep.
I don't know.
I'll try.
Yeah. If you do contact him, tell him hello from me.
I will.
Yeah. All I can remember is she was saying how poor they were. Then she'd go down the street, and the streets were muddy, and the icicles were forming on the bottom of her dress or whatever she was wearing. It was so cold. But the only proof that I have of their poverty was that they couldn't afford to bake white bread during the week. During the week, they could eat potato dick. Are you familiar with that?
No.
Oh, you're not in the family then. Oh, say potato bread. Basically, it's grated potatoes, some flour, and some yeast. Well, the yeast and the flour make it rise and so on, and you bake it. And whatever white flour they had, they would save for the weekend for challah or for noodles. That's as much as I learned about how poor they were.
And then, how did you decide to come to the West Coast? Because it didn't already come through Ellis Island, right?
Yeah. When I came out of the Army, I went back to my job with the city of New York. I was a key punch operator. 3.5 years later, and that one woman had the same flower vase on her shop. Someday...
Here you go, just look at us like that. Okay, and it's already recording.
Someday some kind soul will tell me how to read, enlarge it to read.
I actually brought one that's a little larger.
I can read this, strangely enough, but not the one, the computer image. I put that on my desktop, and when this whole thing got corrupted, I said, oh boy, I got it. We printed it out.
Is this better?
A little better. Yeah. But anyhow, so do you speak Yiddish?
A little bit. I understand a little bit. I don't speak any of it. I understand a little bit. Take my jacket off.
Yeah, that thing goes on when it wants to. I don't fight. This is affordable housing for senior citizens, and everything is affordable, which means they're built in as cheaply as they.
I brought my laptop so I could be able to update everything. So I can actually update.
Apple?
No, I brought my laptop with a regular Dell.
Oh.
That way I can update the family tree right here.
Oh, okay. So what did I find here? Oh yeah, this one here.
Let me go get this on. So the computer you have is an Apple?
Yeah, I have. Whatever they gave me, I have.
Okay.
Now,
Is it recording, Kyle?
Mm-hmm.
You know it's recording. Let me just turn around for a second. You know it's recording if that little thing is blinking, the dot.
What little dot?
The red dot.
Okay.
See it blinking? Well, it does that before.
now Gail worked at the university until she retired. That's all they used was Apple, were apples.
Well, university is very big on apples. Certainly do.
Now, but this needs information which I don't have. Diane has been in a nursing home for 10, who knows how many years, I don't know.
Okay.
And my nephew Jeff Downfeld, and my niece Debbie from what do you call it? From with an I. This is my a small town near San Diego, begins with an I. It'll come to me.
Okay.
So Debbie comes up and she gets a hold of Jeff Downfeld to go to visit Diane. It's out in the valley somewhere. MS. She's been suffering with MS for who knows how many years. So that should be in there. And Diane has an email, which I don't have. Well, I do have it, but I can't access my old address book. So that's the one change.
Let me go in here. Give me a second. So I guess when you were younger, you were not into technology.
Well, I made my living the last, who knows how many years, operating and supervising mainframe IBM machines.
Oh, really? At IBM or someplace else?
No, for Cedar Sinai Medical Center.
Oh, wow. Well, things nowadays are looking a lot more like mainframes were back then. Everything.
Yeah. There's a big room with the air conditioning and everything else. And that one little. So Jeffrey Downfield can tell you where that place is. Why can't I find? I know how to find Debbie's.
You getting good video of him?
What?
You getting good video of Lou?
Am I get?
You're getting. You're
Yeah.
Vista, California is where Debbie lives. Yeah. That would have.
So
Debbie should get you.
Debbie Donfeld?
No,
No, Debbie.
Debbie Zimmer.
She lives in Vista?
Yeah. And she's in here down below.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Well, see, Debbie has Vista, California. So, Richard Zimmer, Debbie
Yeah.
Gorelick, Vista, California,
Yeah.
26. Okay. They're all living.
Well,
They probably moved.
they're still there.
They are.
Now, they moved within that same complex. I don't know whether this is the most current address. Phone number should be the same.
Okay.
And one of the sons is a computer computer something up north. Cartoons or games or something like that. That's one other thing.
So I have Debbie. So I have Debbie
To find out where to find Diane Marcel.
Okay. So who should I speak to for that? Debbie?
To Debbie.
Oh.
Okay. Get down the next page.
Now, your wife,
Huh?
Ruth,
Yeah. She's in Santa Monica. Well, you have her at my address.
yeah, so what's your address? Yeah.
My address here is.
No, I fixed your address on here,
Yeah, well, we.
1101.
1101.
I fixed that.
Okay.
And then what's Ruth's address?
I see you almost look like you're used to dealing with old people. You don't get upset. I have to look for my wife's address and stuff. But, okay. 3100 Nielsen Way, Nilson,
Okay.
apartment 315, Santa Monica, 90405. Phone number I don't remember, but I can get it off here. code 310
1 second.
392 4374.
1 second. Let me have that in here. So 310,
Yeah,
392.
4374.
And then you were married September 1947?
That's about right. Yeah.
Do you remember the date?
It was around, what is Labor Day? What time of the year?
First Monday of the month,
Which month?
September.
And that's what it was.
So you got married on Labor Day?
Well, it was just around in there. I don't, married. We went down to Mexico, signed up with a notary. In those years, you couldn't get married in California. Went down to Mexico with a friend of ours. Went to a notary. He made out some papers. We never got a copy. About $25 to have 5 little bastards. Now, I like to see how you get that into this genealogy.
So you got so you didn't get married in LA. You got married in Mexico.
Yeah. It wasn't until 20 years afterwards that it became legal. So now we've been separated 23 years, something like that. Get a divorce from what, from who, and for why?
So you got married on Labor Day, 1947 in Mexico. Do you remember what city?
You want to call it a marriage? It was in Tijuana.
Tijuana.
TIAJUANA. TIANT. JUANA. Tijuana.
And then, okay, so. And so you. So you married on Labor Day by notary. And then, you see, and Eric is still living at the same place?
Yes, we need some changes there.
So I have Eric, let's see, so Eric married to Gail.
Yeah.
And they have one child, Rachel?
Yes. Now Rachel's married, has 2 children.
I don't have her being married.
Yeah, no, you do.
I do? Oh, hold on, let me see. Oh yeah, Michael
Magnuson.
Do you know his birthday?
Michael?
Yep. Do you know,
His name is Michael?
yeah, no, do you know when he was born?
When he was born?
Yeah, no idea.
Don't even care.
Okay.
If you ever get a hold of Gail, she can give you all the information.
Do you know the name of her kids?
Yeah, the little girl is Leila, Leila, and she's about 6 years old. And the boy's name is Keenan, Keenan Anderson. Keenan is a biblical name.
Kenan?
Yeah, not my Bible is a Keenan, but they said it was a biblical name. Okay, that's okay. Oh, wait a while, we got some information here. Leila is 6. Keenan is 1, Kenan, and he's 3.5.
Kenan. Wow. J-E-N-A-N. And then, did she have any others?
That's all they're gonna have.
So, okay, so 2?
Yeah,
Okay. Do you know where they were born, or?
just how old, that's all
Okay.
So if you get a hold of the grandmother, Gail, she'll give you all the information.
Awesome. And then, okay, do you have Rachel's address, or?
Yeah. It's in San Francisco. I can dig it out.
I can ask, your daughter.
Mission Street. I don't know the house number.
Yeah, I can ask, actually, I can ask Eric, or Gail.
Yeah, Gail. What else about them?
Okay, now, so, have they moved, Eric and Gail, or are they living?
No, they're still on Empire Grade.
Okay. 4080. Okay. And then, so that's Eric. And then Ella?
Alan, the only thing I would say is that his daughter, the one you met,
Can I go to
Jessica,
the bathroom?
Oh, you want to go to the bathroom? Why didn't you ask Lou?
Where's the
right around the corner.
So I have Jessica and Brian.
Yeah, Jessica was staying with Karen while she was finishing dental school. She's all done.
Is she married, or?
Well, she's going around with some guy that nobody likes except she does, so that's her problem.
Okay.
So I wrote, she and this guy, Eric Washington, are renting someplace in LA. She's hoping someday to come and work with her dad in Alan's office.
Okay.
But depends. See, this guy is a doctor. Personality problems, can't find a job. Nobody wants to hire him. Who knows where he'll end up? Maybe she won't. Who knows?
Okay.
But anyhow, she's not living with Karen anymore.
Okay, and then she has a brother, Brian?
Yeah, he's University of Miami, so he's got a Florida address now.
Okay.
But as a permanent thing, it would be their father, Alan's address, really.
Okay.
Okay, so you go down the road just a little bit, and there's Gary Heit.
Okay, Karen's the same, right? So
Yeah, nothing's
changed with her.
They changed dogs, but that doesn't count.
Yeah, I don't count dogs. So Gary.
They have a mother-in-law, Joe's mother's level. That don't count either.
No, that
okay.
doesn't. So is Gary married? So Gary's married to Denise.
Not anymore. Not for a long time. He's
Mhm.
remarried though.
Well, so they make the change here. So Gary. Okay, Forrest 1999. Okay, so she has another wife.
Yeah.
Okay, so we add another wife.
I don't know her maiden name. I know her maiden name started with an H, but that's all I know. But her name is Jennifer.
And it starts with an H?
Yeah, but I heard it once or twice. I haven't written anywhere.
Okay. And do they have any children?
No, won't either.
Okay. So he has no children with either.
Let's see what his address is.
45 Skyline Drive.
I bet. How about a box number or something, maybe? P.O. box something. They live up in the wilderness.
What city?
I think it's Woodside, California.
Is it a new address?
I've got that written somewhere. So if they actually had a street name for the no street that they live on. There's no street. There's a dirt path. So it only about comes to a P.O. box. I can give you that.
Okay.
I'm gonna find out what it's got. Turn that heater off.
I can turn it off.
Punch that button down on his. On the wall.
Over here? Down?
Yeah, punch it down. That's it.
Okay, 70.
I don't care. See, it's gonna go on when it wants to. No address. No address over here. Gary. And P.O. box. Filing system. Whoops.
As long as you know where it is, that's sort of all that counts.
And every time I do this, I think of my mother. She had a whole purse full of addresses, phone numbers. Okay, Gary, yeah. P.O. Box 620940, Woodside, California, 94062.
Where's Woodside?
It's just about as far north as San Francisco, but it's east.
Okay.
It's up in there. La Honda.
And is his phone number the same?
Do I have a phone number? Phone number, I have to look somewhere else. Phone number. Okay. Phone number thing is on the quick dial. And when this goes, I'm up the creek. Okay, so I want Gary, cell. Which number you want? I got a bunch of them. You want a home number?
Yeah, home's good.
Home's good. That's area code 650
Yep.
851 9780.
That's what I have.
Ah, hooray for him. But he's just too far out for me. When he went to work for Kaiser as HMO, big increase in pay and so on, bought himself a Porsche, super duper whatever, I don't know. After, when he was living on at his other Woodside address, when he moved to this cow path, he put it in the garage. It took 2 years to sell the damn thing.
Whoa.
It was just, wouldn't go over the bumps unless he crawled. What the hell's the good of a super fast Porsche if you never get out of low gear?
Yep.
But he's got his fill of speed anyhow. Now he's working on, well, I think it's finished, I hope, a 1976 Toyota Jeep. That's something to be seen. Snorkel in the diesel engine that they had to squeeze in, and biodiesel fuel. He's all screwed up. He's got about 10 more years to live. Yeah. Okay, prostate cancer. Went through a series of chemo and everything, okay, out of remission. So the last time he was examined by his colleagues, they give him 10 more years on the outside, unless they come up with something new. But it's a shame. 92, I'm in better shape than he is.
Wow.
Although I won't last as long as, I'm not gonna make 10 years. I'd like to make 3 more maybe.
10 is good.
Yeah, that would be enough for me.
So Lori,
Lori's in Peru.
let me go look at, so hold on, let me see what I have. Because I met Lori, I guess, with her ex-husband, because she got divorced, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's still my favorite son-in-law.
Really? Do you have Lori's address?
In Peru,
Yeah.
I have her old address. She and her husband lived in this one place for 12 years. Senora Kelly had a house, I don't know, they had an apartment in her house. Senora Kelly's son needs a place to live. They had to move after 12 years. I don't have that address.
Okay.
But the mailing address, mailing anything down there is a iffy thing anyhow. But I can give you the old one and hopefully,
I'll try to find, I'll track her down. So I think I have an email for her. I have an old one, Lori Heit 50 at Gmail.
yeah, something like that.
Okay, I'll send her an email. And is she married now?
Yeah,
Let me see if I have that. So Lori Heit, let's see. Jose Luis.
these amount.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. And she has no kids, right?
no.
So I had some. So I guess that's everything on the kids, right?
Yeah, as far as I can see, you'd have to find out Jennifer's maiden name and when they were married.
Yep, I'll do that.
That was. I get a call from Gary one day. Hey, you got a couple hours? Yeah, I got all day. I'll come and pick you up. What's up? I said, well, Jennifer and I are gonna get married on the beach, Davenport. It's about 15 miles up north on Highway 1. It's a general store there, a restaurant, cement plant that's closed and so on. They're gonna get married there. Who's gonna? Well, Jennifer's an astrologer, I guess, or whatever. Had some strange thing he called himself, psychological, I don't know what. And Gary he's got a little wooden carving of a dwarf or something. That was a witness, and I'm the other witness. And then he had a friend and the friend's wife witness. So they were married on the beach. Works just as good as any other one.
Wow. So I had some other questions for you.
Yeah.
So let me see. And so you said that you used to work with computers with mainframes?
Yeah. The last one I worked on was a 360. I came up north, went back there, I had a 370. They had a printer working there that amazed me. I mean, that thing was shooting stuff out, paper like a geyser.
That was a Cedar Sinai?
Yeah.
What did you do before that?
Before that, I was knocking around with small service bureaus. I worked for the Department of Water and Power when I first, what I didn't do. I spent a month in a steel mill in LA before it closed down. Spent a little time with the Department of Water and Power there. I was so busy with my politics, I couldn't sleep on the desk. I guess somebody didn't like that. I don't know. Worked in a furniture shop, a furniture factory, in the wood shop there. And then as the kids came along, I couldn't afford to dabble in carpentry or anything. I had to go back to IBM crap. It was for different service bureaus, a trucking company, and their little computer. And I go back to card punch, punch cards. Did that in the Army too.
Really?
Yeah. 20th Mobile Machine Records Unit, MRU, Machine Records, yeah. Went overseas with it, no. I trained with the 20th, went overseas with the 20th, and came home for the 25th. Too much of a smart ass So and the 20th was attached to bigger, like regiments, the armies, I don't know. The bigger the army unit, the more amenities they have, especially around headquarters. So from sleeping in a occasional hotel or something, they said, I don't get along with authority. So they put me to 25th unit, which was attached to a smaller army unit, and so we moved, and you had to dig new latrine holes. I grabbed that job. Otherwise, they had to schlep cases of IBM cards from here to there. I'd rather stay there and dig. One time, I was so far down, I had to haul the dirt up in a bucket. They said, no, we're not going to be here that long. Get out of there. So it was fun. It was fun.
And then, let me see. So, can you tell me a little bit about your siblings, like Rose?
Rose, she lived too long. She was such an oathworth, such a son of a bitch. It's strange. I was just thinking about that the other day. She was the oldest sister. She had 2 kids. The daughter was a nice enough person. She was a dancer and so on. Ended up being an overweight mother. Married the doctor. Well, nobody liked this non-Jewish doctor, and just a disaster. But she knew how to make money with, I don't know how. Stock, I have no idea. But she had at that time, Swiss bank accounts. Who knows what the hell she had. So, and they had 2 kids. Oh no, let's stay with her. And the other one that Rose had was,
So Rose had Brian and Amanda, right?
no.
Oh, is that? Oh,
That's
okay.
That's Reenie's children.
Yeah, Reenie's. Okay, so
Rose had Reenie and the boy.
So Rose had Reenie, and Dana,
No,
and then Larry.
Larry.
Yep.
There was no. She only had 2 kids.
So Alex, Kate, Rose, Reenie, Diana. No, Reenie, 6. Rose had Reenie, Diana, and Larry.
Larry, that's the one. So she had 2 kids. And neither one of them. Well, so Reenie had a somewhat satisfactory life, but Larry was, when he was a kid, he was hit by a car, landed on his head on a railroad track, and he was with it and without it. He never married once or twice. Who knows to whom? He didn't even know to whom he was married. And he died relatively young. That was Rose's story. Katie was another story. When I got married to Ruth, nobody had anything to do with me, fine, except Katie. She would sneak around from her husband, staunch Republican, this stuff, for Bissen and the Schumer. She'd sneak out and babysit for us if if Ruth and I went somewhere. She kept in touch with me and my kids. And 20-some years later, 4 years ago, when I fell, shattered my spine, somehow or other, so that was Rose and Katie. Katie was the good-hearted one. So Katie had 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl. One son took after his father. And the other son was like Katie. He kept in touch with me. And,
so there's Robert and Jeffrey.
Yeah, Jeffrey is the they're both staunch Republicans, but Jeffrey is like his dad, from Bisson and the Schumer. Anyhow, so after 25, 30 years, no, more than that, I guess. 30 years, 35 years, I fall, break my back, I'm dying, I'm not dying. Here they come. Jeffrey from LA, Robert from Tucson, someone's up in San Jose, I don't know where the hell I was. And they get to meet my kids. And so Jeffrey said, I'm so sorry, it took me that long to get to know your kids. You know, I don't know what they imagine my kids are like. There's one a neurosurgeon, the other was a dentist, the other one's a college professor that went to stockbrokering. And if you meet Karen, you have to love her.
Yeah.
So that's that's with my siblings. Rose, her family just did well. It's what's her daughter's name now? I don't know. Her daughter's name. I don't think they have any children. They haven't.
Who, Rose?
No, Rose's granddaughter, Reenie's daughter.
Let's see. Reenie, I don't think either of Reenie's kids have any children.
Probably not. So that's the end of the line. Well, Brian has never married, and probably never will. I don't know.
So yeah, I don't have Amanda. I don't think with it.
Amanda, that's the name.
Yeah, Amanda, I don't have with any children.
No. So that's the end of that line. And if they would come out like Rose, it's no loss.
And then you see, and then.
And after Katie comes Alex.
And then, and so from Katie, her, Judy?
Yeah, Judy's daughter. You have to go to Israel if you want any more information. I don't know.
Yeah, I actually saw Judy and Irv when I was in Israel. They live in the old city. So my parents lived not too far from there in Israel, in Jerusalem. And so I took my parents there. So my mom met her cousin Judy after they'd never met before, a few years ago. And I saw them a couple of times.
Judy is, she goes back and forth.
Mhm.
Every time there's another birth in Israel, she runs there.
Yeah.
I gave her a test and she passed. I said, name all your grandchildren. She did.
It's a hard test. Okay, and then Alex?
Alex, know very little about him. He married an ugly woman, that's all I know. 2 children.
Roy and
Donna?
Or Dennis?
Dennis.
Okay.
Roy, his mother pushed him into becoming a mensch. He was floating around driving a cab or whatever. She made him go to school. He was teaching. Last I heard, he was teaching. And Dennis is like his cousin.
And Roy has one child, I think?
Yeah.
And then Dennis has no children, right?
No, I don't think he ever married either. He's like my nephew, Rose. So they came out here to see whether they could make a living. So when I quit the city of New York, I stayed with Rose for a while, and sweet person. I figured, who the hell needs a GI Bill of Rights, buy a house and whatever. She and Benny needed a place. Yeah, I signed up, used my GI Bill. Then, 15 years later, here I am with a brood of 3 or 4 kids or whatever. I used Ruth's GI Bill to buy the house, but I needed a $1,500 down payment. Big deal. So Rose was working then. She was probably on her second husband then. So she writes a check for $1,500, goes through I get a call from the bank. That $1,500 check, they stopped payment on it. I said, what? My sister, what are you? sorry, hey, I need $1,500. I got it from some friend of ours who was a dentist. And I didn't talk to Rose for about 10 or 15 years. And I don't know, who needs a piece of shit like that? I mean, after I give her my GI Bill, and well, I thought you wouldn't pay me back since you have so many kids. You didn't, well, anyhow. And what started that tirade? I don't know.
About moving out here.
Yeah. So, moved out here. She and Benny had been out here just a short while, but I had a nook in the corner somewhere. And hey, it's a lot nicer out here, even in LA, than it is back in Brooklyn where I was. So, LA to here. I did go back for either of my brother's funeral. Alex's was in February. Didn't see when he's alive. Who wants to, so what do I? And I wasn't going to go back there just to see his widow. No. So she's ticked off at me. I tell my kids, if you're in New York and somebody with the name of Heit comes to see you, don't tell them you're my kids, because you'll be talking to your cousins. But it hasn't happened. But I'm playing this game day by day. We have property managers here that, well, they drive me to drink, but also they keep my blood boiling all the time. So it's a wash, good and bad. I mean, they won't give you. I had to buy these light bulbs up there. Because the ones the apartment came with were dark. You couldn't read anything, nothing.
No.
So that's $30 up there. They ain't paying for it. You can't smoke around here. You can't put anything out on your deck out there. You can't park anywhere. Oh, where are you parked?
Right outside the door.
Oh, okay. Because the marked spots are for people like me. I come back from somewhere. I've got the walker that's outside the door with a little sign on it. Handicapped person here. They don't. Some guy comes to fix the plumbing or something, he'll park there. Or people that live 5 buildings away, he'll park there. Or somebody's caregiver parks there. So if I don't see a green sticker on the windshield, I'll park behind it. Let them go look for me if they want to get out. It's happened twice already. Well. I said, hey, if you call a tow truck, call 2. One for you and one for me. That's okay. Because you got no business here. That sign out front says, no public parking. You don't live here.
Yep.
It's fun. But these tight-ass people, they won't have a big sign to say whatever they want to say. They got 8.5 by 11 stuck up on the dumpster wall.
Mm-hmm.
Pathetic.
Good. Hey, question for you. So when you got married, your siblings gave you a hard time, or they just didn't talk to you, or?
I just never saw them or anything.
So what was their reasoning?
Except for Katie. Reasoning, I don't know, it's a good old American way. Reasoning. What, are you crazy marrying a black woman? You're nuts. So who needs crazy people? Well, when the 5 kids turned out the way they did, well, they can kiss my ass now, I don't care.
Yep.
Oh. Just to give my kids a hard time and to pretend I'm really Jewish, I told Gary, the youngest one that lives up in Woodside, I want you to build my coffin. Jewish coffin, no nails in it, you have to glue it together. No plywood either. I want solid wood. So it's been going on for a while. And Eric and Alan and I went up to his house for the final fitting. They may have to cut a shoulder off. Build it wide enough. I got some pictures there. I tell people that, oh, you're crazy. But I figure if I die, let him suffer a little bit. Now they're working on how do you carry the casket? Wooden handles or rope? Gary has somebody that knows ropes and so on, so maybe they'll have some heavy ship rope. I don't know. Do I care? I'm going to be inside.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Go for a ride. Did you ever hear about anybody in the family dying in the Holocaust?
No. Way back, like 40, 50 years ago, when I think somebody like Annie Schulman, I guess that's my mother's cousin, would come and they would talk about Aunt so-and-so and so-and-so, and then they would say, "Na, gestorben in the Chorben." But more recently, no. Karen's husband's family, I guess they lost some people too, but they managed to survive with paying the way here or there. No. It was Joe's something or other, uncle or something, 2 wagons, one family, another family. One went this way, survived. One that went the other way, didn't make it. I don't remember the details of it. But in terms of my particular ancestry, I don't have any specific names or times or incidents now. Take good pictures. This is you don't have half an idea of what a wacko I am. You have no idea. Really. Ruth would say, "How come all your friends are odd or strange? What gingerbread house? What the hell? This neighbor of mine is his mother's caregiver because he's not old enough to live. He's 49. You got to be 55. So he came here 2 days ago with a kit. He says, "Would you help me build this?" Sure. I thought it's for his estranged granddaughter. His wife is raising his daughter has a kid, so he's a grandfather. I thought it was for his granddaughter. Turns out after 2 days, it's for me and him. Unbelievable. So last night I was either washing dishes or went to the bathroom. I come back, he's not there. He's gone. So he'll show up tonight about 10:30, 11 o'clock. The other night I said, "Hey, 11 o'clock, you're out of here. I got to get ready for bed." So, "You throwing me out?" I said, "Yes, I'm throwing." You don't have enough capacity for the story. I can tell you. The lady that lives in that house over there, her parents used to own the whole block. I guess they sold off this property. So they have that house and the next house on the other side. And I'd be walking up and down the sidewalk exercising. Hi. One day we stopped and talked. "My name is Adam, my name is Lou." "Yeah." Now, I don't know how, I guess one of these sidewalk, this thing ain't working right. The brakes are bad. Not a problem. She came here, took the wagon, the walker, put it in her car, took it to an automobile mechanic or somebody, fixed the damn thing, brought it back. I don't know who the hell's, her name is Anna, thank you, but. So I told Karen when she was here for the week, I said, people doing things for me. Now, I don't know if it's pathetic. I'm gonna dress like a pauper with this thing that Karen invented for me. If I'm pathetic or cute. She says, Dad, you're pathetically cute. So I go to the produce market. Well, this is for free. Cut rate. The only one I can't get rid of is this guy here. He drove me to my 2 surgeries. No, Eric drove me for the cataract. He drove me 3 times for the corneal transplant. Now, how do I tell this guy, don't darken my doorstep?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. But I think he's getting stranger and stranger. What do I want with him? And he's insisting that the one side is too bare, and we're stripping pieces of the redwood tree to build hedges around it. And then I keep saying, kids can eat that gingerbread house. No, they're not going to eat it. It's for your house and mine. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Can I get